Hey-o.
All right, well, we're down here at the 2024 King of the Hammers and kind of running around camp, and who shows up but Garrek in his Tacoma. Not only did he show up in the truck and drove it here, but he opens up the back seat and there's a baby in there.
Yep, fresh baby, 8 weeks old.
Congratulations on that. I assume it's yours, you didn't just find it?
It did not find it. They put low jack on them nowadays.
Dude,
so
you can find anything in the desert. You run that race course after the race, you're gonna be rich.
Oh yes, 100%.
Well, we've been around this Tacoma a bunch. We actually did Fordyce with you guys last summer.
Yeah. With Zach or Tyler. Yeah.
I believe this truck is an example of what a, do-it-yourself at-home fab guy can do with a bunch of kit item parts.
100%.
And make this thing is happening now. It used to be just desert guys and just rock guys, and I know you have all desert background, but this is a desert rock crawler, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's a do-everything truck.
Yeah, and that's how it was designed. I can go out, do some whip stuff, use it to pre-run a course, or go up to Fordyce and go wheeling.
So, just starting on the basics, what year is the truck?
This is a 2002 Tacoma. It was actually a pre-runner, so it was a two-wheel drive model.
So a lot of guys ask us if they can build two-wheel drive trucks with our kit. You're the example that you did. There's obviously a lot more work involved, but you did it.
Yeah, actually, the only thing that was different was I had to source the transmission and transfer case. They used the same mount on the frame.
Yep.
So it was just
and the frames are the same on a pre-runner,
same on the pre-runner.
Not a standard two-wheel drive, but it has to be a pre-runner two-wheel drive. Yeah.
Yep.
Frame plates, all that stuff fits in there.
Yep.
So you got a four-wheel drive transmission, four-wheel drive transfer case. Did you have to do any electronics to get that to work?
No electronics. The transmission's the same as long as you get a J-shift transfer case.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything, like everything plugs in.
Yeah, and I heard the J-shift transfer cases were out of like the FJ Toyotas?
So some of the FJs, some Forerunners, it all depends on the year is where it is. A lot of the manual transmission Tacomas have the J-shift transfer case and it bolts right up.
And you put that four-wheel drive transmission and transfer case, but you went a little bit further, right?
Yes.
And what'd you do there?
So I went ahead and got the trail gear crawl box and put it in here, so I had the low range.
Which this kind of rolls back to our theme of the kind of marketplace built, get stuff at a good deal.
Yeah.
So that crawl box is an empty housing, right?
This one came complete.
Oh, you got it complete.
I got a complete one, but yeah, they do come empty and you can throw in what you want.
Yeah, you can get a junkyard case and put planetaries in.
It makes it a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So you have the crawl box, so you can go slow.
Yep.
Which really bridges the gap between desert and rock crawling, right? So looking at it from the front, it definitely has that crossover look, right? It has like the trophy truck / rock crawler, like low profile front bumper, kind of roost guard scenario.
We got the valance right here. We call it the mustache. The winch is tucked up underneath there.
Not to be confused with your mustache.
Not to be confused with my mustache.
And why do you have this? Just to keep?
Honestly, it's just a little bit of look, but just to keep the air dam.
It's also always been like something's missing when you do a nice high profile, single tube or less tubes. It seems like something's missing on the front Tacomas.
Honestly, the firewalls and all this stuff right up under here are not exactly the prettiest stuff. So if you don't cut it all apart, that hides it.
And you got your winch completely sunk in, and then here your desert history has come in here. So really nice skid to protect the radiator, because these Tacomas, the low-hanging fruit, as they say, is the radiator. And I can see there's already rock smashes on here, right?
Yep.
So this has our solid axle kit in it.
Yep.
The 9904 Tacoma solid axle kit for the Ford Super Duty axle, 05 and newer. Everybody does it a little bit differently.
Right.
One of the things I really like is how you have your tie rod. So you flipped it to the top of the knuckle, right?
Yeah, so I went through you guys and got the reed knuckle, and we bumped the steering up. So I had it in the factory location with the factory tie rods, and I was bending them left and right.
Because you're down
here,
right?
Yeah, down almost 2 inches.
Yep. Now, that has the reed knuckle, so you have a crossover steering arm over there, and the drag link is actually coming to the bottom of the crossover steering arm. I mean, that is so close.
Yeah.
The bolts and the heims and everything.
Yep.
And it's also important, you gotta have this one spacer here.
Yeah.
Otherwise this heim binds up. We learned that on Blake's, on the casting, because it kind of leans. But this is what you gotta look out for.
Yes.
So when the tie rod is flipped to the top, your up travel right in here, you could easily case something pretty hard and break the steering box off if you didn't have the clearance here.
Yes.
And this tucks down in there just barely.
Just barely. Honestly, with the other arm that I did have on there, it did actually kiss one time.
And I noticed this is a billet pitman arm that you have on there right now.
Yeah, so it helped out. I didn't have any bumps or anything. It was all just to raise it up a little bit.
Just to clear the tie rod.
Just to clear that.
Yep, and you're sitting at like 2.5 inches of up travel right now, because you got this thing super spanked and low.
Yep.
Our frame plates, our track bar mount, steering box mount, and coilover towers. Now, here's something else different you got in here, and we can kind of peek in. What are these shocks? Because this has a piggyback reservoir on there.
Yeah, so these shocks are actually out of a Can-Am. They're the Fox 2.5 12-inch internal bypasses.
So 12-inch travel this low, normally with our kit, you know, getting it this low, you might have to go down to a 10, but you are only getting 2 inches of up travel, right?
Yeah.
Just a ton of droop.
Yeah, it's got a whole lot of droop. I did cut off the factory shock mounts and put some aftermarket ones on there to lower it just a little bit. You lowered the lower shock. Just to help retain the height.
And one of the things about running, this is a 2.5-inch shock with a 3-inch coil. We say that our kit won't accept this, because with the factory lower shock mounts, the coils will rub on the radius arm bolts, right?
And
then very close to the calipers also.
Yeah, it is close. I was able to kick it out just enough, and I mean, it is like...
Little massaging, you got it to work. These are not factory fenders, obviously.
They are not factory fenders. I think they're ADS or
somebody's fiberglass fenders.
Yeah, it was on there when I got the truck.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Toyota flange in the front, and it's the factory Toyota driveline modified then?
No, so I went straight through Tom Woods for bolt drive shafts. I have bent the rear numerous times. They've been awesome support-wise for me.
So I'm looking at this rear. It's a one-piece, looks like 1310 CV in there. And while I'm here, look at that. So there's our radius arm, and there's our crossmember, but that is a badass skid plate you put on there.
Yeah, I had actually gone up Chocolate Thunder, and they coaxed me into trying the middle line. I don't recommend it. And I set it actually on the crossmember and smacked the transfer case and everything. So when I got back home, I went ahead and shaped that up.
So, you know, you're a fabricator, you're a builder, you do a lot of this work on your own, and it's always great to see other people's work, you know, using our products. You know, of course, with the dual cases, the transfer case is back further. I noticed, looks like you notched the cross member to get the front driveline to fit.
Yeah, I had to cut a fair amount of that off.
So we're currently making a rev change to allow kind of like a hoop or a drop in case you add dual cases. And some of them are shorter, some of them are longer.
Right, yeah.
With an Atlas 4-speed, you don't have to modify the cross member, but this is a long package with that doubler.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the underneath of this thing looks absolutely awesome. Looks like a low-range gas tank skid plate, that big Sterling back there. And now here's something a little bit different. I'm looking, you're linked in the rear here.
Yeah, so that is actually 3-linked.
So 3-link, meaning you have 2 lower links and 1 upper link.
Yep.
And the reason you would 3-link is because the gas tank's in the way, right?
Yeah, and this truck is 100% California smog legal. I wanted to keep that just to make it easier.
And we're reiterating, AC blows ice cold, AC baby blows. In a baby seat in the back.
Yep.
The interior is absolutely all there. So here's your upper 3-link mount. And I definitely like how you tied into the cast and the tube. So you're not twisting the tube
No,
out?
yeah, and I gotta go ahead and get over there and do the other side. I've just been a little bit lazy.
And so the track bar just clears the diff cover. You brace the track bar because, you know, you learn by when stuff fails, right?
Yeah.
So this much lever arm hanging down is a good way to snap a track bar bracket off.
Yep, and I
figured that out, right?
I learned the hard way. We were actually running the Mojave Trail, and I ripped the back of this truck off 10 miles in.
Ugh. So I'm looking more Can-Am shocks,
Yep.
and those are 3.0
Those
shocks.
are 3.0 16 internal bypasses.
16-inch travel internal bypass. So the back of this thing just cycles, huh?
Yes, it does.
And you have done no tuning or anything
No
to that.
tuning. They are straight off a Can-Am and into the truck.
By no means is this a race car, but I mean, you use it all the time and it sucks it up, right?
It does great.
This is kind of a new addition since I've seen you have the mini truck roll pan. I mean, covered up your taillights, Frenched them in, like that's a little bit of the 90s happening, huh?
Just changing up a little bit different, you know?
Look at that. Actually has a receiver in there, tow hitch, you know? The back of the truck looks really good. I'm kind of worried about hitting that.
Fordyce, so this all happened in Fordyce, and I tried to knock some of it out. I know it's gonna get messed up eventually, but for right now, I love the way it looks.
So I see you wheeling this in the desert all the time, do a lot of stuff with Don't Follow Darren. Darren, is it Don't Follow Darren? Or is it?
Yeah, that's what he's calling it, yep.
Darren Parsons, and you guys do, you're like leading the crossover desert to rock crawler guys, you know? I know you got the Eisenhowers on board to build some trucks to do rock in, go a little fast. You got Wilkie building the Bronco. So like these two genres of wheeling and off-roading are starting to come together.
Mesh together.
It is super fun to watch. So electric ice chest then?
Yep, we got a fridge in the back. We got 5 gallons of gas, functioning truck box.
Being factory tank and Toyota, you got a lot of mileage out of this thing anyway, yeah. Why don't you open up the inside and show the interior?
Yeah, let's go over here.
So obviously packed full of family stuff and KOH spectating stuff.
You know,
but
normal stuff. We have the 4X Innovations roll cage, just the standard kit. You weld it together yourself.
Looks like you don't even pull any interior out.
Nope. I wanted to keep the headliner in there. I wanted it to be as quiet as possible and as comfortable as possible.
Being like a big mustache but little guy like you are, you can fit in there with that interior cage. I can't fit in a Toyota like that.
If you are a bigger dude, if you're anything bigger than 5'9", you are hitting your head on this thing for sure.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, you got PRP seats in the front.
Yeah, so we got the PRP Enduro seats with the Ostrich. They are
gotta have the Ostrich.
Seats. Yes, that's what makes these things. Got them in the gray to try to match everything and just keep it low profile.
And right there in the console, there's your regular transfer case shifter, and then your dual case shifter just ends up being in the cup holder.
Yeah, so you have to modify the cup holders. This is the J-shift transfer case, and this is your high-low for the other crawl box. That fits in the factory 4x4 selector.
So is your crawl box a stock ratio then?
4.7.
Oh, so you even went, so it's a gear-driven crawl box.
Yep.
4.7 gears, and then stock gears in the rear.
Yep.
Do you find yourself just in the 4.7 and quite a bit?
Actually, no. I solely use the factory rear case, and only when I need it do I use the low.
So it shows that do-it-yourself guys at home don't have to put the cases.
No.
You know, it helps, but
it does. So
the automatic transmission is a little forgiving when you're wheeling.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. So I've used the low a couple times on Fordyce, and I know on Turkey Claw I had to use it once, but
hardly ever.
But hardly ever. The truck really does great. Have no issues with it.
200,000 miles on this
200,000 miles, stock motor.
How much did you buy the truck for?
I bought the truck for $11,000.
Oh, stole it.
Yeah.
With the fiberglass front fenders.
With the fiberglass front fenders, and it actually had Camburg long travel and
so
Fox
you could
coilovers.
sell that off.
Yep.
What'd you sell that stuff for?
So I sold that for the exact price your guys' kit cost.
Oh, that is awesome. Although you buy the kit and that's the snowball effect, because then you got to get the tires, the wheels, the axles.
That's exactly
shocks.
what happened.
How much did you buy the Can-Am shocks for?
The shocks were, I want to say, $1,500 on Race Desert.
All 4 of them ready to go.
All 4 of them ready to go.
Yeah, that is a score, because it's $1,500 for 2 front shocks.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's sweet. One other thing I wanted to show over on this side that I think we forgot to mention who'd you get the sliders from?
The sliders are also from 4X Innovations.
4X Innovations, yeah. But I'm standing here and I'll let my shadow get out of the way. How come you only have one link on this side?
I wanted to try it out and see how it would affect the travel and the flex of everything.
So there's a big internet controversy about 3-link, 4-link radius arm, especially in fronts. On your front axle, it's always, the most important thing is track bar and drag link parallel, right?
Yeah.
So any 4-link front, 3-link front that's a parallel with the track bar, they're all in there. But by taking the upper radius arm out, it in a sense turns it into a 3-link, right? And so now you have no bind.
Correct.
So technically it'll flex a bunch more, but there's also a give and take. It could have a lot more body roll.
Yes.
And you stuff it in a hole, it could want to tip you over. But so far, like, I wouldn't recommend anybody to do this all the time. You're just playing with it.
Exactly.
But for different types of driving, it works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And when you were at Fordyce, you still had both radius arms.
Yeah, when I was in Fordyce, I had the full radius arms in there, and the truck was super stable, and it went over everything.
Yep. And then you did a trail not too long ago that was like a big boulder flex type trail.
Yes.
Not a lot of up and down or wall climbs, but just needed articulation. That's why you tried it out.
That's why I tried it out, just to see how it was, and we're out here doing the same thing, see what we got.
Yeah. Well, you know, I look at every truck and go, oh man, this has got to be on my top 10. This has got to be on my top 10. Obviously, I love that you called us up and you bought a ton of your builder parts from us, and we really appreciate you doing that and kind of bringing our brand to Southern California, you and all the guys.
Well, your guys' support is great. I've reached out to you guys a couple times with questions. Tech support's been there. John does great with everything. Customer service is phenomenal. So anything I can do.
I will say it this time though, is that as far as Tacomas go, and I really liked Blake's Tacoma until he destroyed it and sold it.
Right.
But with we haven't done one with a 3-link rear, running the Can-Am shocks, all the travel you're getting, unbelievable how much travel you're getting. And just the style and look at it, like I noticed you have a lot of backspacing on your rims. What's the offset on those rims?
Honestly, I don't even.
Yeah, it's not a big stick-out bro truck, right?
So basically what happened was I wanted to make the truck user-friendly, so it has lug adapters.
I see that,
So that's why
So it's still metric pattern.
It's still metric pattern with that. This is 8 on 6.5, or
8 on 6.5.
8 on 6.5. And it was just to make it to where if something happened, I could go to a parts store,
O'Reilly's and get a part.
Get it and fix it.
So technically you could have just got Ford pattern wheels, but then these are so deep dish. I'm sure you got a good deal on the wheels, right?
Yeah, good deal on the wheels.
That's how it always works out, right? Yep. Well, yeah, this is a do everything truck, go fast, haul the 8-week-old son around in it, the wife in it, air conditioned, tinted windows, you're in the desert. You can drive to trails, you can drive home. You came up and we did like one of the most extreme rock trails, Fordyce, crossing deep rivers, going up rocks, and owned it. So Garrek, there's one more thing in here, huh?
Yeah, there
You
is.
don't keep your carpentry tools in here, do you?
Not just that.
So, a couple shadows and stuff, but that's the top of the shock.
That's the top of the shock.
That 16-inch coilover with internal bypasses, I mean, that's almost to the top bed height.
Exactly. We wanted to keep it hidden, so it's just low profile, sleeper mode, if you
Strut
want.
bar going across, tower here, and it's just Frenched into the toolbox.
Yep.
So
and
you wouldn't even
functional.
have a clue.
Nope.
Yeah. Hey, I see you have a shovel here. This tells me that you know what the hell you're doing. A shovel is one of the most important pieces to carry.
They come in handy out here.
This is an awesome truck. I'm glad we got to catch up with you and look it over down here, and we definitely look forward to seeing you up in NorCal again, doing Fordyce and Rubicon. I think we're going to do Rubicon this summer.
I think that's what the plan is, yeah.
So until then,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.